Good morning, YouTube. It's your girl Shay. How are my lovely YouTube family doing? I hope everyone's doing well this morning. I hope everyone's staying safe out there, getting ready for work, or probably getting ready to do something with the family. And today I wanted to talk about happiness. How do you define happiness, and what does it mean to be happy? And if you found it. So that's what we're going to talk about this morning is happiness. And first, before we get into happiness, we have to know the meaning of happiness. But before we get into the topic, remember to click that like, share, and subscribe button. And also comment what you think and your thoughts on this topic today. So, just to start off, let's talk about the meaning of happiness. So, happiness is something that people seek to find. Yet, what defines happiness can vary from one person to the next. Typically, happiness is an emotional state characterized by feelings of joy, satisfaction, contentment, and fulfillment. While happiness has many different definitions, it is often described as involving positive emotion and life satisfaction. And when most people talk about the true meaning of happiness, they might be talking about how they feel in the present moment or referring to a more general sense of how they feel about life overall. And because happiness tends to be such a broadly defined term, psychologists and others typically use the term subjective well being when they talk about this emotional state. Just as it sounds, subjective well being tends to focus on the individual's overall personal feelings about their life in the present. So that's basically explaining how most of the time when people ask, do you have happiness or are you happy? Many people respond in that moment like, yeah, I'm happy right at this moment. But in overall life, like, are you happy with the life you have? And that's the question. Have you found that happiness in your life that fulfills you? And the two key components of happiness are the balance of emotions, which is everyone experiences both positive and negative emotions, which we all do, in feelings and moods. Happiness is generally linked to experiencing more positive than negative. And life satisfaction, this relates to how satisfied you feel with different areas of your life. So, in areas of your life, whether it's your marriage, whether it's your kids, whether it's your family life, whether it's with your parents, is those areas your work? Is those areas something that you feel fulfilled in, or you feel like it's some improvement there that'll make you more happier? And also life satisfaction between work and achievements, other things that you consider important. So those would be things that would you would look at to identify if you're truly happy. And now we're going to get into the signs of happiness. So while the perception of happiness may be different from one person to the next, there are some key signs that psychologists look at for when measuring and assessing happiness. The first one is feeling like you're living the life you wanted. Now, many of us, we have a life that's, decent, and we like what we have. But it's sometimes we can look at like some of the choices I made prior, I probably wouldn't have made now, or sometimes it's not every single part of your life that's happiness for you. So you have, and really, in actuality, I think a lot of us don't necessarily have the life we want fully, but we have some point part of what we want. Because in life, you don't get everything that you want, but you most of the time get most of the things you will want in life. And the next one was going with the flow and the willingness to take life as it comes. So a lot of times we as people, we can tend to want to control every aspect of how things happen in life. Now, we can't control what happens to us as far as things that's everyday things that all people go through, but we can only control our actions and how we react to situations, how we choose and what decisions we make. That's the only part we can try to our best to do good at, but we can't control necessarily what happens around us or the way people in the world may treat us. We can't control that. And it's hard to sometimes just say, okay, I'm going to continue to do my part and just not let that affect me. But we are imperfect, so there are times where people get to us, even as adults, people get to us where it makes us like really push us over the edge. But at the same time, we want to do our best to keep ourselves calm and really think about the long term effects of decisions we make. And the third sign, it says feeling that the conditions of your life are good. So if you are feeling content with the life you have, that's also considered a form of happiness. Because there's nothing wrong with being content, even though it's a lot of people in the world today that would say, oh, you should just always want more and more and more and more and more. But sometimes more is not worth it if you have the most important things that you want, like a great husband, a great daughter or son with a great father, and you have a decent income. You guys have a decent home to live in. You can't nitpick at what's still good, because you have to think at the end of the day, it's some people that's still looking for that and they don't have it. So you should appreciate more of what you have first instead of always seeking out to get more and more and more. And another trait that's a sign of happiness is enjoying positive, healthy relationships with other people. So that also involves your circle and who you have around you. And if those people aren't building you up, are trying to help you stay in a positive mindset, and that could also be family too. You want to kind of sit back and question if that's a person you should be around all the time, if they're not contributing to your happiness, or they're not um, helping you to have a positive mindset or a healthy relationship. And not just with family or friends, it could be somebody you're dating at the time. If they're not showing you the respect and positivity that you're supposed to have, then obviously you shouldn't move forward with that person. You should find a person that will show you that respect. And it's important to have a healthy friendship, family relationship, and it's important to have a healthy relationship within your marriage as well. And the next one was the trait of feeling happy. They said is feeling that you have accomplished or will accomplish what you want in life. So there's nothing wrong with still having goals set of what you want to improve or get at a certain point in time. So that, because when you make goals set to work towards to better yourself, then it helps give you this boost of motivation that helps you to want to, just do better for yourself. And there's nothing wrong with doing better for yourself. There's nothing wrong with accomplishing things. And the next trait was feeling satisfied with your life, which is kind of similar to the other one. So I won't necessarily do that one. Feeling more positive than negative. Now that's a very hard thing, because we have so much negative around us, and sometimes within our personal circle, that it's sometimes hard to think just positive all the time. And it's hard to stick with a positive mindset. But that's definitely something we have to work hard towards and try to find the things that give us that positivity. And like I said earlier, be around people that influence that same feeling. Because if you be around people that just is negative all the time or just weighing you down, then your energy gonna rub off on theirs, and rub off on you, and then you gonna always have a negative mindset all the time. And being open to new ideas and experiences, which is something I'm continuing to work on every day. Sometimes it's scary to do something you never done before, but it is nice to experience some different things, like different activities you may have not done, things like that, because it gives you something to be happy about. Because for one, you did accomplish that, and also it's a good thing to have to discuss with different people and friends you have. You can talk about some experiences you may have, positive experiences that you like to share. So it's always nice to try new things. It's definitely a nice thing to do. Practicing self care and treating yourself with kindness and compassion. So I've just newly realized this. You have so many hats as a mom, as a wife. You have some or have to work too, as well as the husband. So you have so many things you have to do on an everyday basis. So you have to, out of all those things, find a moment in time in the week or day for just yourself. Self care is very important, and I talked about this in previous videos, because if you don't take care of yourself, then you won't be no good to no one else. Not your husband, not your kids, your friends, your family. You won't be able to give the best of you if you don't make sure you're okay. So that means making sure you go to your doctor's appointments, making sure you take your medication if you have any, making sure you take a little time out to work out, even if it's like 10 minutes a day, just to get some moments to yourself, or even sitting on a balcony and reading a book, or going outside and reading a little by yourself, or just, if you can't go anywhere, just sitting in your room with the door shut for an hour and just watch a little movie yourself, or whatever. It's so many things that people do for relaxation. Taking a bath with some soothing music, whatever that self care you need, but you do need it, because if you just run for everyone and don't take care of yourself, then it won't be no good. It won't, nothing you do will be a positive thing if you don't take care of yourself. And another trait they talked about that's a sign of happiness is experiencing gratitude. So it's very important for us to appreciate what we do have, which is kind of what I talked about earlier, being content. So I kind of won't talk too much about that because it's kind of similar to what I talked about earlier. But the next trait, feeling that you're living life with a sense of meaning and purpose, and wanting to share your happiness and joy with others. So as we continue to go on a journey of finding happiness, like I think I kind of talked about that, we want to share our happiness with people. We want to share that and spread that energy to others. We don't want to be just negative Nancy all the time and just everything we talk about is negative. We want to also do more positive and talk positive around the people we care about. And also, this article brought out its different types of happiness. And the first one is hedonic happiness, which is derived from pleasure, and it is often associated with doing what feels good, self-care, fulfilling desires, experiencing enjoyment, and feeling a sense of satisfaction. And then the other type of happiness, this type is derived from seeking virtue and meaning, important components, well-being, including feeling that your life has meaning, value, and purpose. It is associated more with fulfilling responsibilities, investing in long-term goals, concern for the welfare of others, and living up to personal ideals. Now, if you think of the type, both of these things you need together. This type of happiness where it derived from doing things that feels good, that helps you feel positive, and then also having set goals, seeking meaning to your life. That's all important essentials to help you be the best person you can be. And they said some type of happiness that may fall under these three main categories include a often relative brief feeling that is felt in the present moment. So that would be joy. Excitement is a happy feeling that involves looking forward to something with positive anticipation. Then, of course, I mentioned gratitude, and then I mentioned contentment. And again, like how important it is to be content with what you have first, because even if you want to improve on things, you still want to be content with what you have now and find the positive in the things you have now, even if it's not everything in the moment that you have. And if you're still working on trying to fulfill your happiness, one other thing they mention is to enjoy the moment. To try not to think so much about tomorrow and the next day and the next day, because each day is going to have its own anxieties. You want to really live in the moment of a sense of enjoying your activities you're doing at that moment and really just have fun and try to just enjoy that time, because you don't get that time back once it's gone. Once your time is wasted, the time is wasted. So we want to do all we can. So many of us define happiness in so many ways, but all these things they talked about when it comes to joy, appreciation, all those things are an essential that we all need to do our best to be happy, even though we live in a world that's not the happiest all the time. We still can find joy and happiness. And it's all in our decisions, our choices, who we choose to be around, and what we do in our life. And those things help us to find some sort of happiness. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of ShayS Relationship Files in regards to happiness and defining happiness and the meaning of happiness. And I hope you all have a wonderful day and happiness. And I look forward to seeing you guys Monday with another episode. And remember to like, share, subscribe, and comment down below. And I'll see you guys next week. Peace.